My name is Travis Frost, and I'll be presenting on the evidence-based program Not on Tobacco. The Not on Tobacco (NOT) program contains a series of evidence-based approaches, projects, and strategies that target outcomes specific to individuals, schools, and communities. The program is suitable for all youth at junior high and high school levels. The average participant falls between the ages of 14 to 19, with the majority being Caucasian females. This program not only aims to promote cessation and reduce tobacco use among adolescents, but also to promote healthy lifestyle behaviors and to improve life skills such as stress management, decision-making, coping, and interpersonal skills. Along with traditional prevention approaches, research suggests that when combined with effective teen smoking cessation efforts, outcomes are much more effective. With the initiation of these various programs supported by the NOT program, how will they affect adolescents, and can the programs be expected to reduce the prevalence of underage tobacco use? The NOT evidence-based program has been implemented in various parts throughout the United States, and as a result, enrolled students stem from unique and distinct backgrounds. The biggest factors surrounding the targeted audience and impacting effectiveness of the program are the location of the schools in which the students were selected, the economic status of the community or county of the school locale. Geographic location leads to lack of services outside of school and leads to a greater challenge not only for individuals looking to quit smoking, but also remain healthy. Along with the lack of resources to quit smoking, smokers in isolated areas generally have a greater addiction risk to the product, as smokers living in rural areas are more likely to smoke 15 or more cigarettes per day. Residing in a low-income area also plays a strong role in not only exposing adolescents to tobacco use, but creating stronger addiction. Living in a coinciding area means worsened job prospects, which directly lead to increased risk of impaired physical and mental health. Lower income groups are more likely to both smoke and not have enough smoking efforts in the community to help them successfully quit. Explanations for the increased smoking in such communities include poverty, economic insecurity, housing tenure, education, low self-efficacy, low income, and physiologic health. In order for these programs to be implemented effectively and to reduce the rate of teenage smoking, the developers could have to take into account the diverse cultural backgrounds of each of the targeted populations. It cannot be expected that the same methodology and presentations that are used in, for example, an affluent, educated community would work just the same in a rural, primarily uneducated community. While the major concepts and goals of the program should remain the same, slight alterations and adjustments are necessary in order for these programs to have complete penetration and be effective. The major way that developers ensured the program appealed to diverse individuals was by having direct involvement with the students and by only including students who admittedly wanted to quit smoking. 70% of smokers wish to quit, and 95% of those smokers who don't participate in a smoking cessation program fail. Although each enrolled student was diverse in their own way, they all shared a common goal of being motivated to quit smoking. Program volunteers were both present and integrated into the process and also heavily available, and the organization provided everything that was needed. By doing this, the backgrounds of each student did not affect their ability to participate and created a level playing field for each participant. This smoking cessation program promoted tobacco cessation through three major components: support, including financial, education, and self-reflection. Support was established and maintained through funds, all curriculum materials, and incentives for youth participants to quit. Education was provided on the negative health effects and negative financial outcomes from smoking, along with its ability to affect others. The strongest factor influencing those who want to quit is the fear of potential disease, while the second factor is increased price of the product. Self-reflection promoted smoking cessation because the students began searching for factors that made them want to smoke in the first place, and once identified, these aspects of their life were also addressed in hopes of removing the negative influences. The development of this program was spearheaded by the West Virginia University Centers for Public Health Research and Training. This is a Centers for Disease Control Supported Prevention Research Center, PRC, that has been conducting research on teen smoking since 1995. The PRC formed a partnership with the West Virginia State Health and Education Departments, the Coalition of a Tobacco-Free West Virginia, CTFWV, and the American Lung Association to develop a plan to reduce teen smoking. The groups collaboratively developed an initial not-on-tobacco program as an innovative quit-smoking cessation program specific to teenagers. With this mutually beneficial relationship, the PRC provides scientific oversight, technical assistance, data management, and evaluation, and takes the lead on reports and publications. The West Virginia State Health and Education Departments provide leadership, training, and support for schools and the communities not to only improve collaboration, but also ensure health and educational achievements of the children occur in a safe, nurturing, disciplined environment. The CTFWV is a statewide organization that is made up of private citizens and member organizations representing in a cross-section of West Virginia, including healthcare organizations, public and private business schools, civic organizations, and interested individuals. The efforts of this organization had led to significant public policy victories, such as expanded clean indoor regulations. The CTFWV has also generated statewide tobacco-free prevention funding, along with increased tobacco excise tax. The American Lung Association produces, packages, trains, disseminates, and tracks participation in the NOT program. All of these different organizations have worked together to form a collaborative type of partnership. This method of partnership involves exchanging information, altering activities, sharing resources, and enhancing the capacity of another to achieve a common goal, which in this case was the cessation of teen smoking rates. When considering the different types of public health professionals who were pivotal in the establishment and prosperity of this organization, the collaborative partnership allowed each professional to efficiently and effectively display their expertise. Although there were stakeholders at the federal and regional level, the program also included school administrators and teachers. The role of these stakeholders was to plan, implement, evaluate, and spread interventions. When it comes to evaluation, considering the interests of the value stakeholders will increase the likelihood that your evaluation findings will be accepted and implemented. Along with this, stakeholders are also used to reduce suspicion and fear while increasing awareness and commitment. Keeping stakeholders involved in the evaluation process is important because they are more likely to support and evaluate with the acts on the results and the recommendations, which will increase the involvement. Community resources were used to develop and implement the program, with the biggest resource being the school buildings themselves. The NOT program relied on established school districts to provide places to use their interventions. While the American Lung Association provided free facilitator certification training, the schools provided the program with the target population, nurses, teachers, counselors, and other volunteers, along with a physical location. The weekly group sessions that were conducted right in the classroom allowed easier access for students and therefore generated a larger turnout. Fundings for this program came from multiple avenues. By using the previously mentioned state and local school systems, these establishments covered some of the costs. State tobacco incentives have also contributed to the funding, as well as both public and private research grants. If I were conducting a funding source in hopes to gain support and apply an intervention, I would seek out a state grant by talking to public officials. Those who receive government grants not only find it easier to raise money from other private sources, but can also lead to instant credibility and public exposure. When looking at ethical concerns in the development of the program, the dilemma falls on the people enrolled in the program. As previously stated in the presentation, the program is entirely voluntary and enrollment consists of only students who want to quit. Adolescents enrolled may wish to quit smoking for numerous reasons, the most being the undesired health effects and the second being the increased price. Some people also feel ethically obligated to quit smoking because they know how harming it can be to others around them. Secondhand smoke increases the risk of lung cancer and heart disease in healthy non-smokers. This, along with the potential feeling of disappointment from one's family, also make them feel like smoking was a bad decision and therefore seek treatment. One situation where the developers of the program could be placed in ethical dilemmas when it comes to enrollment of a minor. If the parents want to enroll their child to the program, but he or she does not want to quit smoking, the program will not enroll the child. Legally, the parents still have rights over the child, but the child would fall into exclusion criteria of the NOT program. Another dilemma could be the exact opposite situation. Say the child wants to enroll, but for whatever reason the parents do not want their child involved. If the child is a minor, whose side would they take? Would they refuse to help out a child in need, or would they undermine the authority of his or her parents? Due to the fact that the NOT program is completely voluntary and aims to provide support for those openly wishing to quit smoking, it would be difficult to find a community or group of people that completely resist the program. The ones that would oppose the program are the tobacco manufacturing companies, due to the fact that this program directly cuts into their sales and impacts the large percent of their targeted population. More than 100,000 teenagers have enrolled in the program since 1999, directly lowering the income of tobacco companies. Students would be more likely to oppose programs such as Tobacco Free Generation 2000, TFG 2000. This is a program proposed that would deny tobacco sale to any citizen born during or after the year 2000, thus phasing out tobacco consumption for good. In a program like this, people don't voluntarily enroll and instead are born into it and are forced to live according to it, which would generate more resistance. The major contributing factor for the need of this program was the extreme tobacco exposure that adolescents were experiencing. Of the 45 million adult smokers in the country, most of them began smoking during adolescence, and without intervention, most current teenage smokers can be expected to continue smoking into adulthood. Over two-thirds of these people admit to wanting to quit smoking, but for some time, however, little attention was given to developing teenagers' quit smoking programs. By targeting teenagers rather than adults with aims to quit, school systems created the perfect environment and market to implement the program. This not only was convenient for students and allowed for optimum enrollment, but allowed for easier marketing throughout the entire community. If I were attempting to get community buy-in, I would market the program by using the enrolled students as the face of the program and really target the local and established school districts. Due to the absence of a comprehensive national children's health policy, the responsibility for preventing adolescence use has fallen primarily on individual school districts. The advertisements I would create would show some of my youngest and oldest enrolled students and have their images display showing the struggles of tobacco. These students would not necessarily be from the specific community, but from others that would be enlisted from other states. Due to the children being the face of the program, I would aim to emotionally provoke many parents and teachers and spark an interest in the program. I would also include posters that not only showed pictures of students, but statistics on smoking cessation as well. One of my major points would be that smokers who don't participate in a smoking cessation program fail 95% of the time, and a second would be that cigarette smokers who smoke a pack a day will spend $2,011 a year on cigarettes alone. I would also ask local convenience stores to hang up some of my displays to not only inform the public, but hopefully get some momentum in favor of the program from the community as a whole. Even if people weren't in need for the program personally, they would hopefully see the benefit in a smoke-free community as opposed to just household. It would become encouraged not necessarily for my program, but for a smoke-free community. Other ways of marketing would be to ask for permission and access of central office for information regarding telephone numbers and addresses of the students and their parents. I would send out very brief messages to each person in the database, giving them elementary knowledge of the program and what it was all about. I'd also mail out detailed brochures to each address and provide them with more information if they were intrigued at all by the brief voicemail. These brochures would also be available in the local general stores upon permission. When looking at the overall success of this program, there are two major driving factors that contribute to this. One of the major reasons this program was successful was because of the targeted population. Nearly 1/4 of teens report smoking cigarettes, and over 2/3 say they would like to quit. For some reason, however, little attention was given to the development of teenage smoking cessation programs. In regards to population target, this almost provided them with a niche as well as one of the first considerable large-scale attempts at lowering teenage smoking rates. This allowed them to get incredible amounts of support and funding, which allowed for higher-grade resources and personnel. On top of this, they were targeting kids, which that alone has tendencies to catch the attention and support of the public because of the sense of innocence and need for guidance that comes along with this population. This program also only included adolescents that wished to quit smoking. No student was forced to enroll, and by only directing their efforts towards motivated individuals, it allowed them to better maximize their outcomes. The second major factor influence of the success of the program was convenience for the enrolled students. The program used to establish school districts as a location to provide their resources. This not only saved them money, but allowed for higher attendance rates. This also allowed for teachers and faculty to easily become involved and generate greater advertisement and support. Short-term impact was not directly measured by the developers of the study. Although this was not directly measured, more than 100,000 teens in 48 states have participated in the NOT program. Given the effectiveness demonstrated from the first 5 years of the program, it can be assumed that 1 of every 6 participants will quit smoking as a result. Long-term results show that participants enrolled in this study were twice as likely to quit smoking when compared to control. When looking at health benefits of quitting smoking, life expectancy for smokers is at least 10 years shorter than for non-smokers. Quitting smoking before the age of 40 also reduces the risk of dying from smoke-related disease by about 90%. As a result, this program is not only increasing the quality of life, but only increasing overall health by cutting out a very large expense for these individuals. For those who enroll in a quit smoking program, life expectancy is also dramatically increased. Scalability of this program into other communities would be very practical and attainable. As previously mentioned, the NOT program currently exists in 48 states, and due to the growth and success of this program, implementation in fitting communities would be very possible. The school districts that are used to implement the program provide resources and a target population, and by sticking to this strategy, replication would be very possible, as is evident by the nationwide success of the program.